Welcome to the Rob Liefeld Show featuring Robservations. I bring over 40 years experience in the world of comic books and entertainment. Across 5 decades, I offer insights and opinions on the business and the art of comic books and pop culture. If it's happening in games, in streaming, in movies, in comic books, we are covering it and discussing it right here. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rob Liefeld Show featuring Robservations. I am your host, Rob Liefeld. I have been making the comics, writing the comics, drawing the comics, inking the comics, producing the comics, publishing the comics for so long, I can't even remember. That's not true. I do remember. I remember being a young teenager and knowing that if I didn't make it into comics, I wasn't going to make it anywhere. I just didn't have the qualifications. I certainly didn't have the attention span. Maybe you're the same way. Maybe that's why you're an artist. Maybe that's why you're a painter, a musician, a writer. You're developing software for video games, for animation. Maybe you had the same problems that I did. If I wasn't being creative, I just couldn't focus. The only thing that got 100% of my focus was being creative. I have taken all of that creativity, all of those lessons over a 40-year career across 5 decades, and I brought them here for you on this show. We are jumping right into our year-ender. This is going to be a couple parts. It's going to be a couple episodes. But as I record this, and as you listen to it, more importantly, you will listen to this on November 13th. We will be under 2 weeks, or right around 2 weeks until Thanksgiving. And once Thanksgiving hits, forget it. It's Christmas. I looked at the calendar, and this time, I believe November 5th was the last episode of Robservations 2024, that season. We wrapped it up pretty early and gave you all a warm hug and a goodbye. We're hanging on a few more extra episodes this year because we got so much more stuff to discuss. But it has been a year. It has been a year, and we're going to discuss it today. We're going to jump right in. Over the course of these 2 episodes, we are going to discuss all the things that hit, that mattered, that moved the needle, and we're going to start with the big winner in part 2. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but we're going to get a little more focused, a little more specific on some of the definitive positionings, rankings of players and posers in the business, but that will be that's just around the corner. That could be the last episode of the year. We won't get to it today. 2025 was the year of the bat. The year of the bat in a way that I haven't seen since 1989, when they announced. I'm sorry, it was 1987. They announced that Tim Burton was going to make the Batman movie, and that Michael Keaton was going to star, a comedic actor. And I can just take you back. I am 19 in 1987, and I'm reading this news, and I am wrapping up working for DC Comics. And DC Comics, the editors and the people that were that I was friends with there, the talent like Jerry Ordway, like Carl Kiesel, who I was working with on Hawk and Dev. There was an editor named Jonathan Peterson, a really nice guy. He was editing, or would go on to edit the Titans family of comic books at the time. He's like, "What do you think? What do you think?" We would all just, maybe it's the same today, but we would all spend a lot of time on the phone. Artists would call other artists, would call other editors, would call writers, just to occupy long days of being creative and creating content. And so I talked to Jonathan Peterson all the time. He was there early on when I broke in, and I did independent work and then work for DC and then Marvel and bouncing between the two. Jonathan Peterson was such a friend of mine. He sent me the script. He then sent me the Watchmen script that they were going to shoot by the writer of Batman back in the day. A lot of stuff getting passed on. The stuff that they would stuff into your FedEx box. Surprises, pencils from other people, comics, comps, stuff like movie screenplays, teleplays, episodes of TV shows from Warner Brothers. It was fun. It was a great kind of way to keep the talent engaged. But Jonathan Peterson was like, "What do you think about Michael Keaton? What do you think? What do you think?" Had the internet and social media been around at the time, Michael Keaton, known to everybody for one of his biggest hits at the time, Mr. Mom, was being hotly debated. Hotly debated. There was a giant contingent just in fan bases, in comic stores, in the clubhouse, in the bookstore. It was stuff that talk show hosts talked about. It was call-ins to radios. I told you that one of the ways that things got reacted to the most prior to message boards and to internet and social media was people calling up. They would have pop culture segments on the radio, and they would take calls. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this news? Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I'll give them a chance. All of the magazines at the time, the comic book magazines, as well as the sci-fi magazines, as well as the movie magazines, were like, Michael Keaton's under a lot of pressure. And Warner Brothers stuck to their guns, and they knew that he was an actor, not just a comedian, and that he could deliver the goods, and he did. Batman was a fun movie. I don't love it. I don't love any of the Burton Batmans. I know they're really well done, but it's not my fault that I just don't love them. Not like I love Dick Donner's Superman movies or some of the other comic book films that I've loved over my existence, being really super into this stuff. But I admired it. I recognized it for the achievement that it was. And the summer of '89 was certainly the summer of the Bat. Biggest movie of the year. Outgrossed, all manner of competition. If memory serves, that's the third Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I think Ghostbusters 2 is in there. It was a very competitive summer, but nothing was brighter and more successful than Batman. I went to a midnight showing with Jim Valentino and Brian Murray. Brian Murray, you may have known, he ended up drawing Supreme for me, which is that the third book that I launched, that I personally launched Image Comics. It was probably around the seventh or the eighth book launched period, because it was launched, and we gave you a glimpse of Supreme in issue 3 of Youngblood. But these were my creative homies in Orange County. Yes, I just said homies. It's a lame '90s term that lame old men like me still use. We'll talk about old age and being a veteran in the business somewhere across the spectrum of these two episodes. But since 1989, I haven't seen Batman as elevated. Not even with the Christopher Nolan sequels, which people forget. Right before I jumped on here today, one of the websites did as they are wont to do, as you've seen, maybe it's clicks for traffic. They were debating the Christopher Nolan trilogy, the weaknesses, the strengths, the weaknesses, the glaring plot holes. And they devoted all manner of really what they see as the weaknesses. Because Batman Begins, while not a big earner, if you go back and look, it was shocking how the original Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan, Batman Begins, was a taste of what was to come. It certainly didn't dominate the way, and to this day, I believe it is, and the culture will reflect that Heath Ledger dying upon completing his work as Joker was I mentioned here, it got my mom to go see The Dark Knight. Patty Liefeld, in her 80s. What are you doing tonight, Mom? I'm going to see The Dark Knight with Shirley, her best friend. What? My mom had never seen a Batman movie before, but she saw that. She was going to go see Heath Ledger's last performance. It was legendary. Whatever rocket fuel what was poured into the tank on Dark Knight, it took off. And it was 3 times the success of Batman Begins. But then whatever they call The Dark Knight Returns, is that what they call the third one, the with Bane and with Catwoman? I love that movie. And I'll be honest, part of my affection for it is my son Luke was 12 years old and had seen Dark Knight, had seen Batman Begins on DVD, and was all he wanted to know was when Dark Knight Returns was coming out. When was Batman going to fight Bane? When was Catwoman coming? He was as obsessed as I have seen him, more so than any Star Wars movie, any superhero movie. The Dark Knight Returns was his jam. And it was uncomfortable because we went and saw it the opening weekend after the guy in Colorado had shot up a movie theater showing. I believe it was the midnight screening, and it was all over the news the next day, and it was kind of uncomfortable. And my son asked where the exits were, and I made sure that he knew that we were right in between both of them. Really crappy time, more of a reflection of kind of the shit culture and the shit society that we had kind of began forming for ourselves in regards to these kind of very disturbing shootings. Do I believe it affected that movie, the box office that weekend? I did. There's no way it could not have. It scared people. But my son was eager to go, so we went and saw 5 o'clock opening night, and he loved it. It is. He still talks to me now when he's 25 years old, 13 years later. Dad, I just love Dark Knight Returns. It made $1 billion, regardless. Uh, in coming 3 years later, was it 4 years later? Those Christopher Nolan movies, they had the public's favor. Now we look back at the movie debate. Were they any good? Oh, give me a break. Do we just do this with everything now? Is this what we do? I rhetorically ask. That Nolan stretch from Dark Knight to Dark Knight Returns. If it's not called Dark Knight Returns, forgive me. I loved Anne Hathaway. I loved Tom Hardy. I love the Nolan movies. They are my favorite Batman movies. I find them to be grounded in a different kind of way. I love Christian Bale. Oh my gosh, I love Michael Caine. They're really fantastic films. I dig them. You would argue that was the biggest that Batman had been at that point, and it still didn't have the flavor of 1989, the summer of Batman when the Keaton Burton movie launched. But enter 2025. I believe Absolute Batman may have been 2 or 3 issues old. The very aggressive relaunch with a very large, much more foreboding, giant, thicker, in some people call him gigantic Batman, and this new the easiest way to describe it is it's a very manga styled approach, not just manga in art and in drawing and in storytelling and page design, because you can see that in Dragota's work. And Nick, if it's Dragota, forgive me, your work's fantastic. We love it here. Whatever that is, whatever that was, the manga artistic stylings are there. And I refer to it as a manga influence and approach. But there's also a manga influence and approach in the characters' designs and the way they are depicted and the way they look. And it's cool. I dig it. And I think it was 3 issues in. It had completely captured the favor of the public, of the comic book public. Doorbell. It had captured the favor of retailers, of stores, of everybody. They were totally geeked, totally amped, and could not be more excited about what was happening in the space with Absolute Batman. And that was kind of just setting the stage of everything that was going to come. And everything that was going to come is a jam-packed year. We were told immediately at New York Comic Con in October of 2024 that March would be when Hush 2 was coming. Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb, Scott Williams were going to reunite Alex Sinclair and give you a long-awaited sequel. Is it 13 years later? Was it 12? It was somewhere in between there. They were going to give you the sequel. So that was going to be a big deal in the spring of 2025. And retailers reacted. We talked about it here because we cover the retail aspect of comic books. DC really wanted to sell you a lot of these copies, so much so that there were bundles of the book that found you paying 60, 50, 40 cents a copy, depending on the bundle. A group of retailers wrote about it. They wrote about it publicly. They posted it on their social media, on Facebook, on other channels for everyone else to absorb and to discuss. And we shared it here on the show. There was clearly a number that the company was chasing, maybe a number that was promised given the prominence of that team returning. And so to get to that number, there were all manner of bundles and deals to be cut. But it was a big deal. It launched, if memory serves, in March. It was the big spring showcase. Garnered a ton of attention. And suddenly you had Absolute Batman. And you had Hush. Well, I believe it was at WonderCon or shortly during that period, they announced that there would be a brand new Batman comic book. Somewhere in the spring, they announced that Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez would be relaunching Batman at the end of the Hush storyline. And there would be a brand new Batman #1, brand new creative team. And if you go back to the DC 52 and the launch of the new Batman books, right out of the gate, right when the new 52 launched, I don't know if you guys remember the Tony Daniels Detective Comics issue that had the Joker's face. He had cut off his face, and it was, I mean, literally his skin. The face of the Joker was pinned to a wall. And then you had the Court of Owls, and all that stuff was going on over in the flagship Batman book. And Batman was the runaway flagship book, whether it was Snyder, whether it was Tony Daniels, whether it was Tom King, whether it was James Tynion, James the Fourth. Excuse me, I really got to get some definitive pronunciation so I don't second guess myself all the time. Batman has been on a tear. Jeff Johns did like a Batman Year One where Alfred was like, I think it was the first time I was like, man, this is fresh. Alfred had, rifles and a background as a British secret agent. It was with Gary Frank. I thought this stuff is super fresh. So Batman has had a ton of success, but it quadrupled in 2025. It was not just now Absolute Batman. Now it was Hush. And then it was this fall, the Jorge Jimenez, Matt Fraction helmed Batman. They shipped him in blind bags. They wanted a big, giant, fat number because the number two biggest story of the year is going to be blind bags. But it isn't bigger than Batman because Batman did it with and without. And along the way, right before summer kissed us all on the cheek and greeted us with a big warm hello, it was announced that there would be 2 Marvel DC team-up books, DC Marvel, Marvel DC, Deadpool Batman, Batman Deadpool. So now the superstar that Deadpool has ascended to is teaming up with the biggest star at DC Comics in 2 big team-up books that are almost like celebration comics because there's a bunch of extra short stories. I've detailed it in a dedicated podcast. I hope you listen to it. Hope you watch it. Forgot to mention, wherever you are joining us, wherever you're watching, Apple, iHeartRadio, Podbean. If you're watching us on the Spotify video, if you're checking us out on YouTube, I thank you. Thank you very much for showing up, for being part of the show. Thanks for the energy and the juice that you bring. Deadpool, Batman, Batman, Deadpool. I've covered how when these first started, when I was a kid, I was there at the dawn of this. I was 9 years old when Superman and Spider-Man teamed up. 70 pages. The second one, same, giant size editions, big. I held them up. I showed them to you here. And Batman Hulk. And then X-Men Titans was a big, thick, at least 60 pages. They stopped making them treasury size at that time. But now, in contrast, Deadpool, Batman, Batman, Deadpool have a lead story. Is it 20? Is it 22 pages? 23? And then there's a bunch of short stories that build it out to get it to a high page count. And they're fun. They're fun. I don't. The first one that Marvel did was kind of. It was fun, but it wasn't fulfilling. For me, I wanted a lot more. I felt like it fast tracked moments, and it sacrificed elements of the story just to get us through, or maybe to make the deadline. A buddy of mine said the other day, "Why did Marvel's come out so early?" Marvel clearly had made it a priority to get theirs out first, to get theirs out in a window that would afford them the most advantage, the most maximum exploitation. They offered second printings. I didn't order any because the major second printings didn't have Deadpool or Batman on them in a fresh new take. There was a combination. They've combined Lobo and Wolverine, and that's all well and good. And I know my name is inside all of those copies as well. I try and migrate, especially with Batman Deadpool coming out here in a couple weeks, in a week. I try and focus on getting the images that have Deadpool and Batman on them, because that's, the name of the crossover, and I want anything that has my creation Deadpool on it. But if it's Wolverine and Lobo or Wolverine and Batman, I didn't order those. It really needed, like, the Sean Gordon Murphy, the Lobo Deadpool. That's just a great cover. I made sure I had plenty of those. I'm going to talk to you as a retailer. Deadpool Batman from Marvel, getting it out first. They rang the bell. It may be the number one best, most positive story for Marvel all year. They got theirs out first. They got to market early. They rang the bell, and people were excited, showed up, and it made retailers and stores a whole lot of money, which is necessary for them. They got big nuts to cover in terms of electricity, water, gas, staff, obviously the supplies, the inventory of carrying books for you each and every week. We got Batman Deadpool coming here next week, and I'm excited. My shipment should be in a couple days after you guys are listening to this. Maybe if I get them in time, I can share them with you this weekend. We're going to go live, as we always do, on my live stream, my whatnot. I'm going to be spending a lot of time between now and then. These make great holiday gifts. And yeah, I'm excited. I am excited that my name is in all of the books as the creator of Deadpool. That's a really fun and fulfilling aspect, that it was in all the Marvel books and all the Deadpool and all the DC books. And I'm really rooting for the Batman Deadpool. But again, what's at the forefront? Batman. Batman Absolute. Batman Hush. Batman's coming in a blind bag. Batman's teaming up with Deadpool and is the marquee character, showcasing the first Marvel DC crossovers in almost 2 decades. Batman is at the center of every trumpet, every celebration that DC and kind of in an adjacent manner comic books celebrated this year. Batman was the belle of the ball. And we couldn't hide from him. He was a big deal. They announced that Batman would be in blind bags, and that did another huge number, giant. All of my retailer buddies were very excited. I got a couple of them. I opened them. I got some, some specialty variants. I was excited to get them. The book, I'm pretty sure if I read, if I lean right over here, boy, I hope this works for me since I'm doing this unrehearsed. Once again, also coming to you at the end of the day. Everybody who was demoing my house, and now they're starting to put it back together and assemble the stairs and the staircase and the banister, and they all leave for the day. I get X amount of time before the house goes crazy. I'm still hoping to pull this off. I'm grabbing comic after comic because I have one of my Batmans. I have one of them right here, and you know what? This will be the day that it's either the last one or it's not here at all. But these books are, like I said, look, I collect comics. I love comics. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to just toss these down here. There you go. You heard that? No time for pleasantries. Where is my Batman that I pulled from the blind bag? Anyway, guys, I'm like you. I get caught up. I want to get my special book. I want to get my Silvestri cover. That was important to me. And you know what? As the joke is most definitely on me. Yeah, I don't have my Silvestri cover. I don't have the cover that I went on my way to get. I get caught up. I bought a couple blind bags. I was excited. I was excited with what I was able to to obtain. Oh, Absolute Batman. This Bane issue right here, great, fantastic. Look at that cover, so killer, so killer. I love the evolution of Nick's work. I love where he's at right now. It's so fun. He is one of a select few artists that really do inspire, because I can tell they're pushing the envelope. They're looking to not do what everyone else is doing. They're trying to have more of a singular vision for their work and push it in a way that maybe you don't see everybody doing. There's a lot of people just trying to kind of give everybody the same old, and you can't say that about what's going on with Absolute Batman. So even though I wasn't able to find my Silvestri cover to the Matt Fraction Jorge Jimenez, it was fun. It was fun grabbing them. It was fun obtaining them and tracking them down. And Batman wasn't done. The one I like the most that I've saved for last is it called Night Fight? Is it called Night Fight? Whatever the DCKO version by Josh Williamson and Dan Mora. I'm going to tell you why I like that the most. Because Dan Mora is really connecting with me. His work, the gestures, the poses, the way the characters stand and tilt their shoulders, and that stuff translates to me in a big way. Batman Night Fight. Is it Night Fight? Oh, I hope it's Night Fight. Night Fight. I know it's not Nightfall. The DCKO. It came out just a week ago. Another Batman #1 with a major talent. So you got Dan Mora, Jorge Jimenez, Nick Dragotta, also sharing tours with Nick as Clayman. I believe Clay do this issue? Yeah. Nick, Clay, Jorge, Dan Mora, Jim Lee, and Dan's doing Batman Deadpool. You got all these great artists, all these amazing talents that have been called up to depict Batman. So Batman DCKO, that spinoff, I believe it's called Night Fight. We'll find out at the end of the episode. I dig that comic. That's the one that I had the most fun with. That's the one that I was the most excited. The most excited by. I like the different designs. I like the conflict. I like the action. That's just kind of where my head's at. So I really appreciated that. Year of the Bat. How was it not? How was it not? It was certainly not the year of the Spider. It was certainly not the year of the X-Men. 2025 was the year of the Batman. Batman shone big, shone bright, and had nothing but success attached. I feel like this is the strongest year. And yes, Dark Knight by Frank Miller stands alone on a bright, shining hill, okay? There is no absolute Batman without Frank Miller's Dark Knight. There is no Hush without Frank Miller's Dark Knight. There is no blind bag Batman without Frank Miller's Dark Knight. It is that influential to this day. But as far as 4 or 5 comics that reflected the best of what the industry talents have to offer, that artistic lineup that I just shared with you is killer. It's the tops. They brought their best. They brought their very best, and they showed out, and the results are great. And these are books I purchased. I bought the Hush stuff. I bought the Absolute stuff. I bought the Jorge Jimenez blind bag Batman. I bought Batman. I bought Deadpool Batman, and and I'm buying Batman Deadpool. And again, as I can say, as a retailer, I ordered 1,000 copies of Deadpool Batman Marvel's version. And again, to congratulate them, I sold all of them. There was an excitement, there was a buzz that does not surround anything that Marvel Comics has been doing in 2025, and it was there. So just in that instance, to lay down with DC and to make sweet products, that was a total plus for them. And that segues to, I said blind bags was the big story. The second story, I'm going to push blind bags to number 3, was the fall of Marvel. Marvel Comics there was even talent that worked for Marvel Comics, and I was at a dinner, and they said, look, it's no secret this is the lowest Marvel Comics has been during my time in comics, and I have been in comics twice as long as this person who said it. Whatever's going on, I started to think. I bumped into Steve McNiven, the incredibly talented Steve McNiven, he of Old Man Logan, he of Civil War, he of my favorite Deadpool Batman cover, the one that he did with Wolverine and Batman, and it does not have Deadpool, and it was a ratio variant, so I ended up getting quite a few of them, even though it wasn't an open order variant, so, and I wouldn't have ordered it on its own, but it was a ratio. I kept one for myself. Steve is such a beautiful illustrator, such a commercial instinct to his images and his lines. He dropped by, he said hi at New York Comic Con. I always love catching up with him. I wish I owned more of his art than I do. He's left. He left Marvel. He informed me, and he said his next project will be for DC. Anything beyond that, I can't say. I can't speak to. But he's not there, and that's kind of the story of Marvel. These artists aren't there. The people that you used to to rely on to give you something that was entertaining, something that was satisfying, something that would kind of turn your crank at Marvel, they're gone. Steve McNiven is gone. The host of this show, Rob Liefeld, I'm gone. I left. I did work with Marvel the last 10 years. Deadpool Bad Blood, Deadpool Badder Blood, Major X, X-Force Kill Shot, Deadpool Team Up. I'm done. I'm gone. I have no interest in ever working there again. I think the conditions are terrible. I think the people are terrible. I think there is a rank and file, a basic editor who's probably underpaid, who's working his ass off to bring you the very best product they can given the limited resources, because Marvel is falling behind. Steve McNiven has left the building. Where's Olivier Coipel? Is he doing anything for you anymore? I don't see him. Where's Jimmy Chung? I can't find him. He used to be someone reliable that would do work. We can keep going. I don't even see somebody like Frank Cho drawing Marvel work anymore. I don't see it. Mark Silvestri, maybe the occasional cover. Where's Dave Finch? I'll tell you where Dave Finch is. He's been working with Robert Kirkman for a decade. He does the occasional cover, but where's Dave Finch? No Finch, no McNiven, no Jimmy Chung, no Olivier Coipel. No, I've been known to sell a comic book or two, and you can call that ego because that bothers you that I say it, or you can just go, yeah, that's a fact. How have I been doing this for as long as I've been doing this at the level I've been doing this at, unless what I'm telling you is the truth? You think Whitney Houston, were she to be alive, would try and act like she didn't sell albums? She sold albums. That's what she did for a living. Every song she put down, people bought. They flocked to her. She had a long career up until her untimely death as a result of it. So I'm no longer working for Marvel. McNiven, Coipel, Jimmy Chung, Frank Cho, Dave Finch. I mean, the mind starts to wander. And you go, so Marvel has a handful of guys left, and they squeeze every bit of juice they can out of them, and they do one shots, and they do maybe a launch, a launch event book, and there's no follow-up, and there's no follow-through. And you got a lot of old dudes in their 60s trying to plug the holes. And I'm going to tell you, when I was coming up, and I was in my 20s, the guys in the 60s who were plugging the holes were doing journeyman type work, meeting deadlines, making sure books got out, but they weren't building the company. They weren't raising the level of quality or the profile. They were doing what 60-year-old men do, and that is to deliver the product and get the work done that they've been assigned, but they're certainly not creating electricity. Marvel lost their electricity this year. They don't have anything that is buzzworthy or buzzy. And even stuff that they had that was working, like the Ultimates, in the fall, they announced that they're, canceling the entire line, and there's all manner of innuendo and rumor. But the one thing that they had, the rumor and the innuendo is as to why they shut it down. But the one thing they had, the Ultimate line, they've decided to shutter. And maybe it's to generate sales for a great send-off. When I say that the Ultimate line is a mess, I don't speak about the creatives doing the work. I think it's to the messaging. It speaks to the messaging of what happened with the line. Why? No, Marvel really is canceling the Ultimates should not be your headline at New York Comic Con. What should be your headline is how exciting your books are and how thrilled people are. I am totally dulled, bored to death by the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, you name it. Just not in my wheelhouse anymore. Guy got all grumpy with me online when I tried to tell him how great the John Byrne and the George Perez and the Jim Shooter and the Dave Michelini and the Stephen Englehart classics were. I could have gone back further. I could have told him about John Buscema and Neil Adams. He didn't want to hear about it. He wanted to hear about the mediocrity of his age. Let me have what I like. That's like saying, don't watch Empire Strikes Back. Just watch The Force Awakens. Don't you tell me that I need to go watch another better version of this, because, man, this is my time. I'm just going to watch Force Awakens and the Solo movie, and those are going to, and man, that's what I got. That's what I like. Guys my age are seriously, we're not tired. We're amused at the fact that you are so stubborn and won't be led to superior work. You know why Marvel keeps putting it out? This is not stuff that you have to go back and pay expensive amounts in the back issue bin. Marvel is routinely making these omnibuses, epic collections, essential versions. They're reprinting them in whatever they call the True Believer format, the reprints. They're making them accessible to you because they're classics and they're very popular works. The epic Romita Jr. Bob Layton. Did you know that the way that they made Iron Man look, the way that Bob Layton made Iron Man look, more than anything, the way that his slick finishes and the way that he gave what was truly on paper a vision of chrome armor with shines and swirls and every ounce of his craft, bringing together a mastery of brush and quill that made Iron Man, in the Iron Man book, in the legendary Iron Man run that was coming out at the same time Frank Miller was redefining Daredevil, and that Perez was blowing our socks off on Avengers, and John Byrne was blowing our socks off on X-Men. It's such a great run, it gets lost sometimes because of the greatness of those other runs. That depiction of Iron Man is how he is still best depicted as and sought after in regards to, like, this is seen as a style guide to how great Iron Man looked. Again, it's not nostalgia if it's great. It's just great. It's just great. There are lessons to be learned from all of this greatness that was once published by the most formidable house of comic book publishing, that they have fallen so far off. It makes me sad. The X-Men have not been exciting. I rant on it because it's just unbelievable to me. If you're wondering, it's just unbelievable to me. So just let's get something really clear here. If there was a book coming out from Marvel that was generating as much excitement from the ground up, like word of mouth, genuine fan adoration as Absolute Batman, we would talk about it. We would not look away from it. I would say this is the new hot standard. This is how Marvel dug themselves out of the hole. They're not there yet. I'd give Ryan Stegman an absolute version of Spider-Man and let him fly. Let him redesign all of them. Redesign the Shocker, Lizard, Doc Ock, Kraven, Mysterio, and you'd have your best. You'd have your best. So, because Spider-Man is A-list. A little segue here. It connects to both of the subjects that I've already brought you. Year of the Batman, number one story of 2025. Number two, the fall of Marvel. How they don't have an X-Men book with any buzz. They have abandoned the greatness of some of these characters. I look at this guy every day. He's on my desk looking back at me. Cable. I got dozens of these and even more statues, and hopefully this works and I don't flub this. You guys will know. You'll immediately, and just because I'm bringing it up with you now, it'll fail me. But this is the Cable that sold millions and millions of copies and has sold, at this point, there's over 24 Cable figures and statues. So it was my good friend Cable that I was mentioning, and he was representative of Cable, Bishop, Wolverine, Deadpool, that age. I talked about in a recent episode, I talked about the macho, and it got everybody triggered. And there was one person who a number of people tried to call me out and say that I was in somehow, by invoking macho, that one person wrote me a long diatribe about the LGBTQ community. And that person clearly didn't listen to the episode. If you listen to the episode, there's a chunk of the episode when I'm talking about Taylor Sheridan and his certain brand. And during it all, and it's 1,000% the truth, the golden lasso the golden lasso put around myself or my wife will reveal that we love Lioness the best. We love Lioness the most. Lioness has 3 LGBTQ members. Okay? There are 3 gay women on Lioness, and they all kick ass. So macho is not something that is assigned from me or anyone associated with the show with hetero. Those are conclusions you are coming to. If I tell you that my favorite Taylor Sheridan show is Lioness, and maybe you don't watch it, but there are multiple gay relationships, lesbian, kick-ass characters, if that's my favorite, then I can't be blowing a dog whistle to a crowd that I've been accused to. That doesn't track. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't work. Okay, that can't be the case. Uh, we love all representation, and like so many of you, I have gay friends. I have gay family. Okay, I don't believe macho excludes anyone, and it certainly isn't specific to a heterosexual line of thinking. So please don't bring your baggage to me. I gave you an example. I gave you Taylor Sheridan. I went through his shows. And at the end, I landed on legitimately the one that I'm most excited about, the one that I was so frustrated they weren't picking up for season 3. Taylor Sheridan, like Chris Claremont, writes some of the strongest, most badass women in comic books. And if you are someone who is definitely don't read Youngblood #2. There are some revelations about some characters that I've created at Extreme Studios. I'm holding it right here, by the way. Youngblood 2 has been published. This is a special collector's edition. You're going to be maybe a little surprised by what you read in Youngblood #2 if you've come to some conclusions about me and my preferences. So moving on, I was going to share with you that something adjacent to both our first 2 points with Batman, Year of the Batman, and then the Fall of Marvel. There's a great podcast I listen to called The Town with Matthew Bellany. He is a founding member of Puck. He has a very entertaining show. He does it with occasionally he does it with a reporter from Bloomberg named Lucas Shaw. I just love the show. It's very much inside Hollywood. Gives you lots of tea. Spills a lot of tea on what's going on at the studios, at the giant production companies, whether it's Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Sony, everybody in between, Disney. They did a draft the other day about franchises. And you couldn't just say I want a Marvel franchise. He made it very clear. You have to, or DC. You had to give specific. Both of them, given their picks, both of them used high picks in the draft. Matt Bellany actually used his highest pick on Spider-Man, and he made notation of the fact that Sony controls Spider-Man and media. They pay what is essentially a 10% what you'd pay your agent to Marvel. And they keep 90% of everything. When Spider-Man comes out next summer, that market share will be Sony's. The 90% of the box office receipts will be Sony. If they make $1 billion and Marvel gets $100 million, that sounds like a lot, and that is. That's a great kickback. But that is Sony that is spending the money, Sony that is producing those movies. Yes, Feige is on in his. You've seen where there's multiple producers, right? Multiple 6, 7, 8 producers on a movie. Yes, Marvel gets one of those producerial roles, but the movie is produced by Sony, manufactured, made for Sony. Sony gets the market share. Sony gets the box office. Sony gets the DVD. Sony gets all that. He picked Spider-Man as his number 1 pick. Lucas Shaw, the other guy on the Ringer, I'm sorry, it's one part of the Ringer network on The Town. He picked Batman. Their thinking was there are no Spider-Man movies that are not going to do well, and there are no Batman movies that are not going to do well. But basically, in the words of both of them, a disappointing Batman and a disappointing Spider-Man movie are going to bring you 650, 700 million. That's, to the point of the characters in this instance. The Year of the Bat, Lucas Shaw picking Batman, because Batman is a sure thing no matter who's in him. Is Ben Affleck putting on the cowl? Is Robert Pattinson putting on the cowl? When Robert Pattinson shows up to shoot Matt Reeves' sequel, and you start getting those visuals, and you start getting those set photos, and they will send you set photos in the same masterful way that Sony has been sending you set photos of Spider-Man to get you excited. 6 months in advance, 9 months in advance, 10 months in advance. Get that into your system. Get that on your calendar. Associate that with something that you are really anticipating. They're going to do that, and when the Pattinson and the Matt Reeves footage starts coming out, the shift is going to go just quadruple, and maybe we're going to be seeing a bigger Batman than we've ever seen before. It's possible. It's all possible because again, Batman, as they said in the draft, Batman and Spider-Man are the staples of both companies. Time-tested, fan-approved. Time-tested, fan-adored, I would say. So I just thought it was funny listening to that and hearing them, again, these characters, because they've had talents like Christopher Nolan, talents like Tim Burton, talents like Zack Snyder. Yes, I thought Zack Snyder depicted a great Batman. Ben Affleck as Batman in Batman Superman, and that action scene where he breaks into the warehouse and takes those guys out and looks like the embodiment of Frank Miller's Batman. I thought Zach depicted a fantastic Batman. I wish that things had gone better for him. I've done dedicated podcasts, go back in the history, go back in the catalog, flip through. We have a limited menu on YouTube because we just started on YouTube in the spring, in the summer. But man, no matter who is behind Batman in the Bruce Timm cartoons, whether he's represented on television, on movies, or in comics, Batman is just, we would call him a winner. He's a winner. He always finds a way to entice us, to excite us. And Spider-Man, similarly, is always going to do well now that they've really gotten that formula down. There was an interview with the Venom guys who did the Venom films, and they were talking about how difficult it was to make those movies without Spider-Man. And at least one of those Venoms, I want to say one of them made $1 billion. And that was because, I mean, that was without Spider-Man. Imagine had Spider-Man been in that movie. So the Spider-Man brand is still really popular. I'm not sure why Marvel can't do better. The blueprint is there. The Todd McFarlane, the Eric Larson blueprint is there for when the fans love those characters the most. Go further back, the Steve Ditko blueprint that Todd was looking at to make his Spider-Man creepy. It's right there. I think Ryan Stegman is better suited to Spider-Man. I think we would see the very best Ryan Stegman we've ever seen. He has that legacy of Venom and the excitement that he was able to generate along with Donny Cates on the Venom run. I think you just let him loose on a Spider-Man book, and Marvel, you will start crawling yourself out. If there was a book that was anywhere near as exciting as Absolute Batman was, and it was being published by Marvel, we would talk about it here. We would celebrate it here. We call balls and strikes, okay? That's what we do on this show. We're not scared to. And we're going to talk more in regards to talent and talent impact in the second episode. Blind bags number 3. Blind bags were on Battle Beast. Blind bags were on Batman number 1 with Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. Blind bags are on Mark Spears' Monsters Comics. I'll probably put a blind bag on Youngblood 100. Youngblood number 1, thank you for showing up, for interacting with it, for grabbing it, for making it one of the biggest launches of the year. It didn't have a blind bag. I didn't want to deal with that smoke. I didn't want to deal with that hassle. It seemed overwhelming to me. And I wanted to see what we could do without it. People at Image Comics are like, you should do this for 100. Youngblood 100 is going to be a big deal. And we're going to definitely probably examine a blind bag option. And I'm excited to do that. Blind bags are, let's say, flat out a source of gambling. There was an article in the New York Times after the big NBA gambling indictments came down from the NBA with Chauncey Billups and all the other kind of tawdry, whether it's the poker games or the people throwing games, or now you got baseball players. I mean, we are definitely in a kind of a gotcha moment where we're finding out how many people are doing things that manipulate numbers in Vegas in order to get and generate larger payouts. And this article in the New York Times said the United States of Gambling America, or something like the gamblization, of America. And it was very interesting. And, some of these podcasts I do listen to, and they are fueled by, betting. They're by fan, whatever it's called. All of the different betting components are buying a lot of ads on podcasts, and it's giant. They want you to bet on baseball and football and basketball and baseball. And I mean, for a while there was the Hollywood Stock Exchange. You could bet on a movie's opening weekend, an actor's performance. I mean, we have definitely given ourselves over to gambling, and we love the luck of the draw. It drives trading cards. Blind bags are essentially the trading cards, the trading card personification of comic books. When Youngblood number 1 came in, I don't know if I have a bagged version here. We did a poly bag with a trading card that was more similar, that was meant to invoke X-Force. At first I was frustrated because there's a placard in the back. There's a backing board that is concealing the card, but someone showed me very simply, if you hold the bag up and you shake it, the card, what you will be able to see the card. There's no way to not be able to see if you have the card. There's a 1 in 6 chase card in the Youngblood comics. In Youngblood #1 in the cover A with the blind bag. I'm sorry, with the poly bag, with the clear poly bag. So you are able to see it. It's not blind. In a blind bag, you are not able to see anything. It is completely concealed what cover you're getting, what card. And that is like trading cards. And that's the excitement. And trading cards have been around since I was a kid, and obviously much longer. Is it 60? Is it 70 years? Is it more? Trading cards. Me and my buddies, we bought the Star Wars cards. We pooled our money in 1977. They came into the liquor store before they hit anywhere else. We went to the liquor store. We pooled our money. We sat on my front lawn. We doled out each the equal amount of packs, and then we started opening them. And if you got double Han Solos, that was in your trade pile. Double Luke Skywalker, double Darth Vaders. There were rare cards that we all wanted, and that's the excitement. And I can picture myself sitting out there on the afternoon lawn with the cardboard box, tearing up our packs as the sun set. And it just gives me so much excitement because it's the luck of the draw, it's the randomness. We are in a blind bag era that is fueled by speculation and randomness and gambling and the luck of the draw. And who are we to say that it is anything other than the trading card aspects that we've always enjoyed? So I dig it. Zero judgment by me. It is clearly something that retailers, I've talked to retailers, they dig it, they like it. It's drawing attention, it's drawing crowds. Those bags also do well in the online component. And I've talked about it here. The world is a much bigger place now. You can boot up, get your signal all the way to Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, Japan. There is all manner of territories that just this. If I'm on Whatnot right now, I'm in all those territories. I'm able to sell there, and people want those blind bags. They want those opportunities. Blind bags were a big giant deal. Number one, Marvel. I'm sorry. Number one, Year of the Bat. Number two, Fall of Marvel. Number three, blind bags. Those are our three super mega hot stories of 2025. There's more to cover. There's more topics to discuss as we pivot towards powerful brands and maybe some big moments of the year. If I had to pick a fourth and wrap it up, I'd say Image Comics. Image Comics with Skin Breakers. Image Comics with Battle Beast. Image Comics with, yes, Youngblood. Image Comics with Exquisite Corpses. Image Comics had itself quite a year. I've talked about it here. Ivan Rice does work for Image Comics. Gary Frank does work for Image Comics. Jason Fabok does work for Image Comics. Ryan Otley does work for Image Comics. I'm sticking with artists here, but obviously James Tynion, Robert Kirkman, your boy Liefeld, okay? How they call me in Italy. Is you Liefeld? It is I, Liefeld, doing work for Image Comics. These books are hitting the shelves. They're garnering attention. They're building up a fan base, and people are digging them. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be part of Image Comics. Image Comics is having a big, giant glow up, and I'm leaving all sorts of books out. I'm forgetting all sorts of Ghost Machine titles, random Image Comics, guys like Dennis Camp, Jeff Johns, doing great work, amazing work. Brian freaking Hitch, Redcoat. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't sign off. Image Comics will be my fourth story of the year. They are surging. And I think if this continues, you may be looking at a new sheriff in town. Sky's the limit. Creators are feeling more emboldened. They're feeling less impressed. The opportunities at Marvel, I've talked about it here. If you've made a name for yourself and you know that you have an audience, you can. The greatest thing for you to decide your true number, who you really are, is go off on your own and put that to the test. We did. It worked out spectacularly. It's great. More to cover as we continue to wrap up the year. I am going to get a big moments in maybe some of those popular brands, because that's different. Stories of the year, impact of the year, brands of the year. It's where we go a little more micro into the macro. Okay, we're going to have fun with it. Thank you, as always, for listening to the show. I love giving it to you. I love sharing it with you. It's going to be sad to turn the mic off and not be here. Maybe one more, maybe two more shows max, but we're at the end. Thank you for making us number one. Thank you for making us the number one comic book pop culture show across all podcast platforms. I told you at the 38-week mark, like we had been number one the entire time. Then at the 44-week mark, and whatever week we are now, 46, 48, I don't know, but thank you, and thank you. Guys, Youngblood will have hit by the time you listen to this. It kind of bummed me out. A bunch of people were saying, Rob, my store says there's not going to be any for the shelves. I shared them online. That's not stuff I'm making up. People who contacted me, they sent me messages. They're making comments. I hope you get the covers that you want. I hope you get the editions, the cover A, whatever. I hope all the people who made variants, I hope they have tremendous success. I'm going to be blasting them out. I'm going to be promoting them. Youngblood is very near and dear to my heart. It's very important for me. It's a brand new, all stories of Youngblood have happened. Some that took in the future are still coming in the future. All Youngblood stories have happened. It's been 33 years. There have been a lot of stories, a lot of stuff you haven't seen, some untold stories that you have to tell. But if you pick up Youngblood number one, you're picking up with the team in action against a brand new menace. And that menace, Xerxes, has a lot of secrets to spill. He has a lot of impact. He is a harbinger of some interesting and maybe terrifying things to come. I hope you take the ride with me. I am so appreciative that you listen to the podcast, that you buy my comics. I could not be more just completely and totally humbled and thankful, and you have my gratitude. I am on social media all the time when I'm not here doing this show at Robert Liefeld, RobertLiefeld on X. That's where I'm listening to you, watching and interacting with your replies, your mentions, your comments. I love hanging out with you guys. I love sharing with you favorite movies, favorite moments, comics, artists, storylines. And I love when, if I say I like something, there is, without a doubt, 10 people will tell me, yeah, but did you like, what about this? We have entered the what about this, because I must not have seen that movie, or I must not have known that was an action movie before it was a comedy. Pretty well read, been around the block, but it's fun. It's fun interacting with you. A lot of new people coming into the business, a lot of new people coming into comics, a lot of people buying Youngblood for the first time. I'll be promoting that on my X account, formerly known as Twitter, at Robert Liefeld. The blue check tells you it's really me. That is, I am the genuine article talking to you on X. Over on Instagram, we're having fun. We're making a lot of fun content. We're shining the spotlight on all the great different people who have been making the comic book content for us. Been talking about all the different cover artists: Kyle Nagoo, E.M. Gist, Eric Gist, Ryan Stegman, Ryan Otley, Danny Warren Johnson, Scotty Young, Mark Spears. Tried to cover all of them, give them all a spotlight. I have a couple covers. We're going to continue to shout out all of the different people who have partnered, whether it's Comic Tom, whether it's Big Time Collectibles, whether it's ANZ. I'm going to fit more people in here. Oh, I can't leave you guys behind. But in Third Eye comics with their incredible variant, we are going to continue to promote this stuff on Instagram. We're doing a lot more engagement, a lot more interactivity. The feedback's been awesome. You've been awesome. Thank you. I'm at Rob Liefeld, just at Rob Liefeld on Instagram. Blue check. You know that is really me. I'm reading your replies, your mentions. Sometimes we're arguing with me. Nothing triggers you more than me picking a character to beat another character. It sets you off, because everybody has in their mind that, wait, so-and-so will definitely beat that guy, even though maybe they already haven't. But I'm a big enough guy. I'm a grown up. I can take it. I can take the brush back. If you don't like the fact that I think Lobo would somehow find a way to rip Deadpool in half and put a piece of him on Pluto and a piece of him on Mars, and in the center of the planet, pinned down so that he can't move. These are the kind of things that we're doing on Instagram. It's crazy. It's fun. My buddy Scotty, my boy, he is crushing it. He is he's just got a great intuition about what we're doing over there. We're having a great time. Instagram at Rob Liefeld. Blue check. Again, that's really me. Check me out. I'll be reading your replies, your mentions, your comments, and your DMs. Thank you for all the great messaging that you send to me. On Whatnot, Rob Liefeld. Follow me. If you've heard this, I've already had the launch show for Youngblood, but we have so much. We'll be back on Friday. So if Wednesday's the 12th, 13th, 14th. So Friday the 14th, Saturday the 15th. November is a busy month for us. We're also going to have the brand new Batman Deadpools, possibly by November 14th and 15th to ship out the following week when the book is actually on sale, so we can reach you around the same time that it's at your store. We've just got a lot of stuff. November was always going to be super busy between Youngblood and Batman Deadpool and all the different covers. I didn't go as big on Batman Deadpool as I did on Deadpool Batman. I pulled back a little. We'll see if I made the right call, but very excited to share this stuff with you. I do custom remarks. I do custom signatures. What is a chisel? What is a drop shadow chisel Liefeld signature? What is a blood splatter chisel Liefeld chisel? Find out. Join us. Sketch covers, drawings, original art. Check us out on Whatnot. We go live. I'm Rob Liefeld. You'll be notified if you follow me. Get that app, download it, follow me, and let's have some fun. On TikTok, I am Rob Liefeld. That is me. I am talking right at you. We are making the same exciting content on TikTok and trying to crossbreed, share it in the manner that we are with Instagram. We love hearing from you guys. I love talking back to you guys. I love meeting so many new faces. TikTok is where so many new faces are being presented to me and met, and we're mingling and we're getting to know each other, and it's fun. Rob Liefeld on TikTok. Give me a follow. I've got a CGC signing. It's coming up. The deadline is short. It's coming up November 20th, I believe. Right after Batman Deadpool drops. You want to get those into the CGC offices. Go to the CGC menu, look up their signature series signing, drop down. This is my third one that I've ever done with them. A lot of great stuff. These Youngblood comics, Deadpool, Batman, Deadpool. Maybe you have a New Mutants 98, a New Mutants 87, a Youngblood #1, a Supreme #1, a Prophet #1, an Avenging #1. We've got the opportunity. I can do remarks. I can do sketches. All of those are part of the menu. Go to the CGC website, pull it down, check it out. Get your orders in so that I can sign them in the month of December. I'm so excited to see you and see the books that you send me and get them back into your hands. Such a fun time. We did Instagram. We did X. We did TikTok. I have a group on Facebook called Rob Liefeld Marvel Extreme and Beyond. We would love to have you hang with us. We have great art contests. We talk about comics all the time. We're definitely talking about all the stuff that we've discussed here today on the show regularly. It's a really great forum. Each and every episode of this show gets given a dedicated post so that you can weigh in, talk about what you've heard, what you think you heard, your reflection on it. Come and join us, Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond. I have a co-administrator, Terry Sala, Sala. It will be either myself or him who click you on through to the other side. We'd love for you to join us. The group is so fun. It's growing every day. Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond. It's a group. It's a group on Facebook. Hey, the sun is setting. I'm losing the last light of the day. Thank you for spending your time with me. I love talking comics. This was a fun year in comics. Credit where credit is due. Batman, Fall of Marvel, Blind Bags, Image Comics. A lot more to discuss. Come back, see me, but not before you take care of yourself. Make sure your mental, your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional well-being is where it needs to be. I was really worried about the holidays. I'm a dad. It's what I do. The government shutdown, as bullshit as it all was, are you going to get mad at me for saying that? Because I think it was bullshit that people suffered. I was worried about, are my kids going to be able to make it home for Thanksgiving? How will that affect Joy? Should they drive? Should we start planning? There's a phrase that my mom used to say, don't borrow trouble. And I was definitely borrowing trouble. And maybe what we all do is borrow trouble sometimes. And I would ask you not to borrow trouble. Step out, go meet somebody, talk to somebody, be with a friend, enjoy some personal time, some up close, have a cup of coffee, go to the diner, have a burger, have a bowl of soup, have a slice of pie. I already had my I had a Christmas tree at Reese's today, and I had a big cup. It's the time of year you got to double down. You got to double down on those distractions. So now it's 90 seconds. It's maybe 2.5 minutes. That's how long it takes for me to douse both of them. Do I do them both one after the other? I do. I don't give time. I think about it, but I have the big cup, then immediately I digest the other one. The sugar, the chocolate, the peanut butter, it just, woo! And then I go to work on the page. And I get distracted. But you know what I do? I connect with my wife at the end of the day. I call a friend. I hang out with buddies. I visit family. Guys, just get off the treadmill. Life can grind you down. The everyday worries and concerns. I'm sitting there at night going, oh my gosh. It wasn't so much that I wouldn't see my kids during Thanksgiving. It was what kind of hell were they going to have to endure? Like I said, I was invited to a bunch of conventions lately. Everybody's decided they want me to attend their domestic convention, their international convention. I'm like, I'm not going on a plane. I'm not going to, even after they fix the problem. I'm more nervous than ever. And so I was worried about my kids and you know that what would they be facing as they're trying, you know, to catch their flights. And so it's that kind of stuff. It shouldn't be keeping me up at night, man. I was borrowing trouble. If you're borrowing trouble, let it go. Be good. Take care of yourself. We care for you. We hope that you are doing your very best to boom, fish into this Blue Yeti. Mike, wishing you all the best, bumping you up. Do not forget me. We only have a few shows left. Come back. I'll be right there. Swing by, pick me up. We will most definitely, absolutely, and drum roll, inevitably, we're going to talk again real soon.